You read that interview that I sent to you?
Hold just a second. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pow Wow Chat, our weekly show here on PowWows.com. I'm your host, Paul Gowder, and I appreciate you spending Monday night with us. We have a really special guest, and I'm going to go ahead and bring him on now. Rudy Rojas from, Native Threads. You might know him from there, and now from Smoke Signals. Rudy, how are you this evening?
I'm doing great, Paul. How are you?
Awesome. And I want to say hello to everybody who's watching already. We appreciate it. Please post your comments, your questions for Rudy, or anything you're thinking. Let me know where you're from, where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. All right, we'll go ahead and get started with the interview. Rudy, you've been around for a while, and you started your first company. What year? When was that? When did Native Threads start?
I started Native Threads in 1990.
That was the year I graduated high school.
That's long ago, doesn't it?
Yeah. Tell me, how did you get in? The whole T-shirt business, and what led you into this?
Well, I don't look at what I do. I don't, even like today with smoke signals, I don't look at what I do with smoke signals as T-shirts or ball caps. Same thing with Native Threads when I first started. I look at what I do is apparel and textiles being a form of communications. So, everything that I create has meaning behind it. And that stems from my formal training and education. I went to San Diego State. And when I was there, I started interning for the largest ad agency in San Diego, and I learned from some of the great creative minds in Southern California how to create advertising campaigns that were launched nationally. So, I don't look at things like under a microscope. I look at the big picture, and as it relates to our culture, I look at the artwork that I create as a way for me to reach out to Indian country and share with them, what my thoughts and my experiences of being a Native is. And, one of the things that I've come to realize of doing this for, a number of years now, is that most Native people share a very similar experience. We just have to go back, a few generations to go back to a time where, our ancestors lived in a different way in which they've had to adapt in generations subsequent. Like I look at how my mother and father, the hardships that they had to go through, living on the reservation, and I can only imagine what their parents had to go through, and the same thing even for my grandmother. It was pretty tough for them, and so for us in this generation, and like for I have a 21-year-old son now, things are different. We've had the opportunity to move forward in ways in which, our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents couldn't. They had to survive. So for us, and what I do with my art, I try to create really cool art that empowers Native people to feel proud of who they are and really embrace that whole concept of being Native, because I think that we have so much more to share with the world than a lot of other cultures, because we're still very much connected to our culture. And for those of us, or for those who aren't, connecting with artwork like I create, with my apparel, is a way for them to connect. So, yeah.
Cool. And we're getting some comments here. We had somebody say that they always, from Sioux City, Nebraska, actually, always loved your Native Threads. We've got people watching from all over the country, so thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
New Mexico, Arizona, California, Wisconsin. That's great. So here's one of your new products. I'm showing it to the camera now, your Native Strong Hat.
Yeah.
I think this is exactly what you were just talking about, communicating a message to Indian country. Tell me kind of what was the inspiration for this one?
Well, the whole thing that took place, with the North Dakota pipeline at Standing Rock was, my feelings about making a statement to empower Native people had been percolating prior to, what took place with the protest that got attention nationally, internationally, globally. What corporate America is, doing to Native people on Native lands. And to see people come together like that, Native people and people of all color, to support, our culture, our lands, our water, to me was, it gave me faith, it gave me belief, it made me stoked to see that we could all still come together and fight for what is right. And, I've always felt that, and that's why I started Native Threads. That's why, I'm moving forward with smoke signals. But I think it's really important for us as Native people to still, be willing to stand up and fight for, what's right, in your own community, and if say your tribal council is going in the wrong direction, then go to your general council meeting and speak your mind. So whether it's your tribal community, your family, if you guys are having land rights issues, water right issues, don't be afraid to fight, the corporate America. So that's what that design represents.
That's awesome. And we had somebody just say that it's really cool to have some Native artists doing that they need to hear that message, and it's good for our Native community. So I think that your message is really resonating with folks. And just to let everybody know, I'm putting up on the screen now a special URL over on PowWows.com. Make sure you check that out, www.PowWows.com/smoke signals. Rudy has generously given us some items that we're going to give away, and that if you head over to that website, that's where you can enter to win. And I'm holding up the shirt now. This is your the beadwork shirt with the turtle.
Turtle, yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful shirt. My wife claimed it before it even got out of the package, barely.
Well, I do have more stuff. I'm meaning to get it out to you this week, and I'm sorry, or last week, but I promise I'll get you.
All good. More. All good. So everybody, head over there. That's where you can enter and get some of this cool stuff. And again, post your comments there. So you're saying, the whole message for Native communities and all. The smoke signals name. Tell us where you got that kind of, and where's that? What does that mean to you? And
well, a couple things. I mean, there's kind of a real spiritual base to it because I'm a pipe carrier, and I've done ceremonies throughout most of my adult life, and for me, my prayer pipe, my chinumpa, represents my connection to offer, my thoughts, my prayers, my hopes, asking for guidance from, my ancestors above, the Creator, the grandfathers of the four directions. So really, there's that conduit to the spirit world, which the pipe represents to me, and that's really what smoke signals represents to me. But also, it's also a form of communication that indigenous people have used throughout time. So, the signal fires combined with the prayer pipe, it has that double meaning to it, but, it just means communications in a cultural way.
Awesome. And we did get one question, sorry, unrelated, but I want to answer it before you go away. Thanks so much for watching, and I see you're asking about some of our live webcast. Appreciate that. We did cover the Gathering of Nations. That was back in April, and we'll be back for 2019. If you go over to www.PowWows.com/watch live, you can see the other live webcasts that are coming up. And hopefully we're gonna get Rudy out to Morongo maybe, and we'll be broadcasting live from Morongo. Maybe we'll get you on camera there, and we can talk a little bit more.
We'll be there. Yeah, no doubt.
Cool. Now, you talked a little bit about your company and kind of the brand and your messaging there. Now, tell us a little bit about the man behind the company. What's your background? I know you said you were in advertising and went to San Diego State, but where are you from? And, and of course, I'm really jealous of your daily activities. You tell us about that. We don't get that kind of thing out here in the South, so.
Yeah. Well, I'm Tiwa. I'm originally from the Isla del Sur Pueblo. That's where I was born. I still go back there at least once a year. I know that's not enough, but it's my pueblo is in El Paso. We're the southernmost pueblo of the Pueblo Nation. My pueblo is originally based out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. But in 1680, when the Spanish were chased out of the territory by my Pueblo ancestors, they ended up going through Isleta in Albuquerque, gathering as many people as they could to exit the territory safely. And so they basically used human shields, which were my ancestors, who then ended up building the Pueblo in El Paso. But when I was an infant, my mom moved my brothers and sisters, and I'm the youngest of six, and she moved us from our pueblo to East Los Angeles, kind of out by Dodger Stadium, and that's where I grew up, and I lived there till I was like 17, and just kind of by crazy fluke. I mean, I wasn't prepared. Nobody told me to go to college. One of my teachers in high school, as a class project, had us fill out college applications, to go to school, right, to further our education. And to me, it's like, okay, well, whatever. But so I did it, and I ended up getting accepted to school. And I got accepted not because of my grades, but because we lived below the poverty level. So it was a real blessing. It was one of the first real doors besides leaving the Pueblo and moving to LA. I mean, that was an opportunity for our family to just move forward. But that door that opened for me with education happened when I was pretty young. And it was just by the grace of, the Almighty that happened. But when I started college, I came down to San Diego State, and I've been here since, so I've been down here for like 30-something years. But, one of the other great things that happened to me, too, is so growing up in East LA, I don't know, how many people really know about anything about LA, but LA is pretty tough. And the streets of LA are really tough. And so as a kid, I pretty much grew up on the streets. I wouldn't say I was a full-on gangbanger because I wasn't ever jumped into a gang, but all my best friends were gang members. And being the youngest of six, my brothers and sisters had all kind of grown up through street life. And one of my brothers, when he graduated from high school, moved to the island of Kauai in Hawaii. And so when I was about 12 years old, my brother sent me an airline ticket, and I went to go spend the summer with him in Hawaii. And that was like another major thing that changed my life, because I went from seeing the world in black and white, this concrete jungle of, the survival of the fittest, to, riding waves. I mean, I stood up on a surfboard, and it changed my life. I went to seeing everything in color, and that was 12 years old, first time I stood up on a surfboard, and and I've been riding waves ever since. So it's one of the blessings of living here in San Diego is being able to jump in the ocean and ride waves. And as I've told you, Paul, one of the great things about surfing is, to me, being out in the ocean is like how I think all of our ancestors were connected to nature. Whether you lived in the mountains or wherever you're from. At one point our people were connected completely to the land and the cycles of life and the seasons. And to be in the ocean is like sticking your finger in a light socket. It's just complete, like, it's electrifying. And, you have dolphins swimming by you, pelicans flying by you. I love to surf when the waves are big. So that connection with the energy of these waves that, are generated from storms, hundreds, thousands of miles, across the ocean to hit the shores and to be able to ride these waves, it's amazing.
Yeah, that would be an amazing way to start the day every day. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm totally blessed. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. That is a true blessing to have that kind of ability to be that close to it. And yeah, like I said, here in the South, we the ocean's only 2 hours away, but my waves are like 6 inches high. We have people that attempt to surf here, but yeah, I don't know that it's what you guys call surfing.
Well, you're in North Carolina, right?
South Carolina.
South Carolina, yeah. The waves aren't as good. North Carolina does get some good surf, though.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk more about the design. So where do you get the inspiration? Where do you come up with these, like the beadwork design? Is this something you're designing or?
No, like all my stuff comes to me in my dreams, and I know that sounds kind of corny or cliche, but I literally have things come to me. I feel, from my ancestors, they come to me in designs, and it's happened that way for a big chunk of my life, and I'm blessed to still have that ability to connect that way. But back when I was doing native threads, I would have these dreams where they were like slideshows, and I would see everything that I had to do as far as creating products, designing the catalogs. I think more of the inspiration that I get now are from looking at the things around me. Like for instance, that the hat that was inspired by Standing Rock. The whole Native Strong hat. The things that I create not only come through divine inspiration, but it comes through like osmosis. I look at what's going around in society, not just for Native people, but, for all people, because I think our Native message is really important for people all over the world to tune in with and connect with, because, it's, there's a lot of healing that we need to do and help, protect our earth, our oceans, our rivers, our lands, our sacred lands. There's lots of stuff that we need to come together and stand up and fight for. So, so much that comes to me is like just looking at the world and then, having those things come to me in my dreams.
Very cool. I love the design on that shirt. You've got
the other stuff in my collection. We're right in the middle of production with in my collection, I probably have like a dozen different designs, and I've produced about maybe 4 or 5 of them. And as I was telling you earlier, we just shipped a huge order to a tribe up in Washington for their cultural center, which I'm really grateful for. That's the Yakima Nation, really wonderful people. So I'm super excited to have like 12,000 tribal members. So for me to get my products in a tribal community where I know it's going to have an impact, it's amazing. So, and it's the same thing about working with you and sharing our products and our message with your audience. It's my opportunity to reach out into Indian country and really put, these important messages out there, almost like planting seeds in a garden, So every person that orders something, and it's really crazy because, I'm the one that packs the order. So my wife processes all the paperwork, and invoices everything, and gives me, the packing slips and stuff. And I'm the one that packs stuff. So when I pack, our orders, I make sure that like every package is sent like with a prayer and a blessing. I look at who is ordering the product. I pack it with like a lot of care. I put them in these really cool little boxes, wrap them really nice. Usually include like a really cool sticker that people aren't expecting. But the stuff that is in production now, I'm so excited about. And, if you haven't seen our collection, I please encourage you to go to nativecultureshop.com and look at the designs, because I'm not saying this because they're, I've created them or I had anything to do with them, but if you look at each design, there's a message behind each one, and it's a positive message, I feel. Yeah,
and I was just showing some of the designs while you were talking. We were I was showing I love the native, what is it? The native grown native, or now I got to go back and read the shirt.
Yeah, the native
grown. Yeah, I love that shirt.
And then
great
the
message.
Piece, if you look at the piece design, it's an image of a prayer pipe, and for most non-native people, they think of a peace pipe of being something that the tribal leaders would smoke weed in, and it had nothing to do with that. But yet, the word peace is an important symbol to people all over the world, right? So to associate a prayer pipe with the word peace, knowing what native people are going to get from it, getting on to the bodies of other people around the world. Again, it's like planting seeds, and what's going to sprout is going to be something I think that's going to be good.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm showing some more of the shirts. So you're getting some questions or some comments. People are loving the designs. That's good. Thank you. And so what's next? What's next for Smoke Signals? Where are we going from here?
I'm going to start looking at potentially getting on the road a little bit, maybe this fall. And it's something I thought I would never do again because, I built my last business traveling all over Indian country. I don't know if any of your viewers ever went to the big booth that I would have at the gathering, but I would be a major sponsor. So we'd have like our own pavilion. We had doormen to let people in. We had DJs in there. We had a full sales floor. It was crazy. And not that I ever want to get to that again, because I really don't. It was a lot of work, too much work. But I do want to maybe start tapping into some music festivals. I want to continue to grow our sales organically, like by working with you and working with your audience. As I shared with you earlier, we're working with a handful of wholesale accounts around the country. So there's a handful of casino resorts back east that are really excited about carrying our products. So, it's just one step at a time, and making sure that every step that I take is done in a good way and, have the foresight of looking at my path ahead of me and, just trying to do things the best way I can.
That's the best way to do it. And, we appreciate you being a partner with PowWows.com. I think it's a great partnership, one that I know our audience is already enjoying. And again, I keep putting the URL up there. Make sure you go over to www.powwows.com/smokesignals to enter to win some of these shirts and hats you're seeing. And of course, check out his website at nativecultureshop.com. So we appreciate you guys looking at that, and I think it's going to be a great partnership for the two of us. So, we talked a little bit about your company and the background and all. Is there any, while we still have some people, continue to post your comments and questions if you have any questions. But is there anything else you want to say to our audience here while we have a few minutes left?
Yeah, please share our message, with your friends and family. Even if, because I know many people don't have the resources to just go online and buy whatever they want. I know times are tough, but, even just sharing, what we're doing on Instagram, like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, share us with your friends, help us get our message out. But if you want to buy something, I think that you're going to be really excited and pleased with what you get. The shirts and the fabrics and the materials that we use for what we create are like the best that I could find. They're not like big, heavy, burlappy t-shirts. Our screen prints are done with the finest inks. So you don't get a shirt that feels like it's bulletproof, because it's all plastic.
Yeah, no, this kind.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But I've been doing this long enough to where the stuff that I create, I like to wear, and I like my friends to wear, and I know that the people that connect with us and buy our stuff, they're excited about, what we're doing. Like I've been getting comments back from, the first couple batches of stuff that we've sent out to Indian country. And, so whether it's back east or up on, the Pacific Northwest or anywhere in Indian country, we've been getting the feedback has been amazing. Because people are just so stoked to get like cool stuff, that is made with quality and care. And that's, as an artist, that's all I want to do is I want to put together things that, I could be proud of, that, will make people feel good about who they are, and let that rub off to other people, I've had people come to me and say, hey, Rudy, I was wearing my shirt at the grocery store. And I've had people come up to me and ask me, like, what is that? Where can I get that? Only because it's beautiful, without them knowing what it means. And that really, like, as an artist, that really, it's very rewarding. It encourages me to keep moving forward. And, it's a blessing for sure.
And I think one of the things you said there was really important. You're talking about how people can help, and like during the Standing Rock, we got tons of emails. Where can I send a check, or how can I get involved? And so many times people overlook, just share the message. Whether it's sharing what you're doing with the Native Strong Hat. Let me show that to the camera again. Or if you see something going on out there in Indian country, the first thing you need to do is share it. Let's raise the awareness of all of these issues. And I think that's the first step people can take. And like you said, if you can't afford to buy the shirt, if you can't afford to send money to these causes, it's okay. Share the message and get it out there. That's super important.
And really, and learn about what these issues are. Like I said, whether it's in your own home, whether it's in your own community, your tribal community, or if it's on a national level, really learn about what's going on. So then that way, whatever you do, you're making educated, you're sharing things based on fact and not, BS. And, and we all everybody looks at the news and the stuff that's going on, people are trying to make things really challenging to really determine what's, truth from not the truth. And, if we think with our hearts and not with our heads, the truth is always there. And the things that are shared to us by our parents, by our grandparents, by our elders, you can't get any more real than that. So.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And it's great to be able to work with somebody who is producing such authentic. Look at this design, folks. It's incredible designs and a great message. Truly, an authentic, and it is really a personable message, and I think one that we can all agree with. Somebody just posted a link to your bio. Somebody's already gone out and kind of looking at so there's the link if anybody else wants to go and read more about Rudy and his background. There's the link. Well, thanks so much for spending some time with us, and again for being a partner with PowWows.com. We appreciate you and what you're doing, and I'm looking forward to seeing where we go and how this grows.
Yeah, me too. No, I'm super excited, really stoked. I want to say thank you to your audience for tuning in. That means a lot to me, for you to take time out of your evening to, spend time with Paul and I. Thank you, Paul, for, giving us this opportunity to work with, your loyal people that support you and everything that you do. Please, go to our website and, check it out, nativecultureshop.com, and share us. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everything you guys are doing.
All right. Thanks so much. And for everybody watching tonight, again, we appreciate you. It is an honor to come here and talk with you each week. So look forward to more of these shows, and we'll have some more guests on in the future. Remember to check out www.powwows.com/smoke signals to win, and go over to nativecultureshop.com and get your merchandise. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate you, and we will see you down the trail.